Have you ever paused for a moment, looked around at your life, and thought to yourself, this isn't how I imagined it would be? If that thought has crossed your mind, I want you to know one thing. You're far from alone. More people feel this way than you might think. In a world that celebrates design and intention, many of us find ourselves living on autopilot. We wake up, glance mindlessly at our phones, eat the same breakfast, go to work, go through the motions, and then repeat it all the next day. Life, for so many, becomes a cycle rather than an adventure. Days blur into weeks, and weeks blur into years. But here's the truth that so many forget. You are only one decision away from a totally different life. Let me share a story that might sound familiar. It's a story about Jared, a regular person with regular dreams, stuck in a life that felt anything but extraordinary. At 27, Jared found himself waking up every morning with a pit in his stomach. The job he dragged himself to each day felt pointless and draining. Sunday nights, instead of being restful, were filled with dread for the week ahead. He wasn't living, he was existing. And every time he felt the urge to make a change, the fear of uncertainty held him back. Not today, he'd say. I'll figure it out later. But later never seemed to come. Until one night, he heard a quote that hit him in a way nothing else had before. The life you want won't show up. You have to go get it. That simple sentence was a wake-up call. It made him see that if nothing changes, nothing changes. That very evening, instead of sending his mind to sleep with another episode of a show he wasn't even watching closely, Jared made a different choice. He opened his laptop, dusted off his resume, and started writing, a task he'd put off for months. One decision. That's all it took to start the chain reaction. Within 3 months, Jared wasn't just working at a new job. He was thriving. It wasn't perfect, and it certainly wasn't easy. But it gave him what his old life lacked: growth, learning, and a sense of purpose. His world didn't transform overnight, but the direction of his life changed the instant he made one single move. So how do you apply this to your own life? How do you take that spark and turn inspiration into transformation? Here are 3 lessons you can put into practice today. First, make one small, brave move. Change doesn't demand a grand leap, and you don't have to overhaul your entire life in a day. Progress is about choosing action over comfort, however minor it seems. Maybe it's signing up for the gym class you've been avoiding, even though you feel self-conscious. Maybe it's applying for a job that scares you, that voice in your head whispering, you aren't qualified. Or maybe it's writing the very first page of that book that's burning inside you. The scale of the action doesn't matter as much as the act of choosing forward movement. Every single brave choice signals to your brain that you aren't stuck. You are the one steering the ship. One decision builds momentum, and momentum changes everything. Second, try using the 5-second rule, a strategy made popular by Mel Robbins. Here's how it works. When you notice hesitation, when you're about to talk yourself out of action, count backward from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Then, you move. You send the email. You get out of bed. You make the difficult phone call. You take the step you've been avoiding before your mind can conjure all the reasons to delay. This simple act interrupts the loop of overthinking and pushes your brain and body into motion. The secret isn't waiting for motivation. It's about creating movement. When you move, motivation follows. Third, it's time to audit your daily decisions. Real change happens on the micro level, in the simplest choices that stack up over time. So, ask yourself, is this choice building my future or delaying it? Every small decision matters. When you hit snooze instead of waking up early to plan your day, it sets a tone. When you spend an hour scrolling instead of learning or creating, you're choosing comfort over growth. When you complain rather than looking for solutions, you reinforce a sense of powerlessness. Take 10 minutes at the end of your day to reflect. What choices moved me forward today? You'll start to spot patterns. And the beauty is that when you see the pattern, you can change the pattern. You stop drifting and start steering. Here's the truth that binds all these lessons. You don't need a master plan. You don't need to ask anyone's permission. You just need a single, intentional decision, a tiny choice that opens the door to a new direction. Maybe that means searching for a different job. Maybe it's setting your alarm a little earlier. Maybe it's replacing negative self-talk with a more empowering inner voice. No action is too small if it creates movement. The perfect moment, the perfect conditions, those don't exist. If you're waiting for the stars to align before you act, you'll always be waiting. Instead, realize that the next right choice is always within reach. If you take that step today, however small, the next moment will be a bit brighter, a bit different, and a bit more yours. So wherever you are, if you feel stuck, if you feel like life isn't what you hoped, remember, you're only ever one decision away from a totally different life. Nothing is more powerful than recognizing that you hold the keys to your own transformation. Today, let that one choice be the spark that lights a new path forward. Your new life starts with a single choice. One moment, one move. Will you let today be the day?